We're going to discuss family dynamics plus individuality. Rate us on Spotify, review us on Apple Podcasts, DM your reviews on our Instagram page, and you can go follow us because we do fun stuff. And yeah, you can get some personal details too. Mwah. Here, the meaning of individuality is preserving your peace plus not letting it affect your present work. Because most of us, when we fight with our family, we get affected. So it's a tradition now. Ishita farts every time we record, and it's so fucking irritating to record with her in this room. Oh my god, guys. Okay, when I know that things can't happen according to me, why I have to, get involved with every single thing. So I have accepted this one thing that it will affect you no matter what. They are your blood, they are your family. It will affect. The first thing is acceptance. You can't change people, you can't change the situation, you can't do anything. You just can deal with the situation in your own way and maintaining your own individuality by accepting it that yeah, it will affect you. You will cry for few days, you will cry for few hours, but you have to make sure the limit of it.
Yeah, I have tried running away from it, from my emotions, and after a lot of analyzing myself, how I react in these situations. It's very important to analyze yourself. Observing, I learned this from Tanya. So after I observe myself, I realized that I don't voice out my what I'm feeling. And I have read this a lot of fucking times that if you don't voice out what you are feeling, what you want, what you need, others won't figure it out on your own. We just want others to know that I am feeling fucked, so they should talk this way to me, or I want them to say this particular thing, so they should say that only. So it doesn't work like that. And it's very hard for someone who doesn't voice out their needs and what they're feeling to actually voice them out and not let their voice waver and not cry at the same time.
I think voicing out sometimes doesn't work. Like in my case, I like sometimes voice out, but it turns into fight and they don't understand.
In my case, they are a little understanding, and even though they don't understand it, they should know how I am feeling. I feel that now.
The things can be really controlling. So, in that case, I would say just stay away a little because sometimes people overdo stuff. Like, I just ignore. And if she's not listening, I try to say one or two times that I can't do this right now. I have my own space. I don't think so. Any Indian parents will relate with the thing called privacy. But I think if they are controlling you, just stay away from them. Just do what they are saying in front of their eyes, and in back you can do whatever the fuck you want, that what we are doing right now.
Yeah, and this is where figuring out what works for you comes in, because this is what works out for us, and this is what we are going to do because we love this, the freedom we get with this. They are happy, we are happy, and even though with a little lying, it works for us. So it's with distancing yourself, as Tanya said, it is very easy to distance yourself itna zyada that now there's no way of getting back with them without having a proper mature sit down conversation. It can happen, when you distance yourself with them, you are just not paying attention to them, they are not paying attention to you, you both are living in your own worlds even though you live in the same house. Maybe it's possible.
And I think it happens a lot, and I think you can't do anything about it because samne wala person is not also responding and stuff. But do as much as you can do. Like if you had a fight with your sister, like just after 2 to 3 days, you guys can go out and have lunch. Like do little small things that can make you feel better and not guilty about that you are not focusing on your family or just focusing on yourself, just addressing the wrong things. Because sometimes we self blame ourselves. People stay together because they forgive each other. They don't stay together because they love each other. People still separate when they love, but why they are living with each other? Because they forgive each other.
Yeah, so from this we learned holding grudges is not gonna do you anything good. It's just gonna feed the negativity inside you. So make sure, even though you cannot forget, it's better to forgive if they are worth that forgiveness.
In your inner circle you should be the only one, because these things will stay throughout your life. Your fights, your family dynamics, people are wrong, things are wrong, and it can affect you in on different levels, and it will affect your mental health. That's what we are saying. Just try to build a wall around you so that it will not at least like it will only affect you 40%, and 60% of you is preserved. Remember that it will not make you selfish, it just will help you with your mental health. And you're not running away from your daughter's or son responsibility or brother or sister's responsibility. You are just preserving yourself and taking care of yourself. And if you can't understand this, people do lot ton of shit for their family, and it's really great. But you should, yeah, you should do, you should.
Just as hard it is finding the courage to go talk to them, it is also as hard to find the root cause. And as I said earlier, it only happens after a lot of analyzing, talking, and being a little mature, not seeing things from just one sided perspective. That's not how things work. Until and unless you analyze things, there is no way that you can rebuild your relationship. Like I and Tanya, we have fights. They are ugly, of course. Fights are ugly. But it's on us for to rebuild our relationship than to just sit at our own home and be like, she's gonna call me or she's gonna say sorry. Sorry doesn't solve things. Talking and maturely handling situations does.
Make sure what you say, make sure you know that it's about both ways. If the other person is not ready to build up, rebuild, there is fucking no point of you just bashing your head against the wall and saying stuff. I think in that moment you should realize that okay, they are not ready right now. There is no point. I know it's gonna hurt somewhat, but that would be good for you.
In many situations, in during many things, we just think about the short run things. Like I did this mistake, I was like, let's leave it for now and I will figure it out later, it will be okay after a while. So this is a big mistake that we all make, thinking that baad mein sab sahi ho jayega, things will be better later on. But that doesn't happen, because somewhere deep down you have that grudge, you found that thing a little annoying about them. So until and unless you don't talk it out and work on that thing and heal your relationship with them, it will be fucked. You will be fucked, they will be fucked.
The relationships like you and like father daughter relationship, like most of our fathers are strict, so when we had this fear inside us, it will stop us from doing so many good stuff and fun stuffs. We always do, we are all still doing, we are trying to get out of that fear and be like, yeah, we have to do this. But I think this fear has been built up, like in Indian household bachpan se we have ki papa datenge wala fear is always there. Like I love when my mom scolds me and do shit and like say कि ये मत कर ये कर तेरे future के लिए ये सही है, that like normal. We are talking about the fears that will that is just that will stop you from growing your life, experiencing things, and that will like always stop you to to build a relationship with your parents. Guys, may one more thing, we are saying all this by the experience, and we are dealing with this, I don't know how long we are dealing this with, but it took me like 2 years to understand that I can't control my parents, I can't control my siblings, I can't control anyone else in my family, and I can't do anything about my family dynamics. I can't. It took me 2 years to just believe this one thing, one line. So I will rewire my brain. It can take you years, because if you're listening to this episode, you could be 30, you could be 40, but you still face these kind of things. So I think like many people could be getting forced into a marriage because of their parents and stuff. So there are a lot of things, so you have to rewire your brain, because from the starting your parents have told you certain things and you just keep following them. So make sure you know where you like your parents are right and where your parents are wrong. Basically they are also humans, okay? They can also do mistakes, so don't trust like blindly like whatever they say. And I think yeah, it would affect you, but eventually it will stop affecting you if you practice all these things. I have like we are doing this from 2 to 3 years after we got out of 12th, so it will not happen overnight. And I know if you're listening to this, you had a fight with your family, so I think you just have to chill, eat some food, just chill out, just get that emotions dump somewhere on the piece of paper or talk to a friend, just let things get out of you. Because most of the time when we have family dynamics, we don't tell anyone because we are told not to tell. Okay, so we just keep in ourselves and it will be kept. And I don't know how, but it after a few years it will affect you in some way. When you make your own family, things will come up.
To sum up this episode, we mainly talked about individuality and how to, not let your 100% get involved when there are some fights, misunderstandings, or something a little off in your family situations. So make sure that you are there for yourself, even though you are fighting with someone. Make sure that you have some part of you left with yourself. Like, even though I had a fight, and as it affects you, you're not getting affected 100%. You still have the energy to go out and enjoy. You still have the energy to be there for yourself. It's all about that.